A loud gasp echoed through the packed church as Adaobi dropped her bouquet and bolted down the aisle. Her heels clacked against the marble floor, the hem of her dress catching on the pews as her mother shouted, "Adaobi, where are you going?" The groom, Femi, stood frozen at the altar, his jaw tightening as whispers filled the air. The dream wedding turned into a nightmare, but all Adaobi could think about as she pushed open the heavy wooden doors was one word: a step. Adaobi held the nearest bike and sped off, her heart pounding against her chest. The wedding had felt wrong from the start, like an outfit that didn't quite fit. Her friends and family adored Femi. He was kind, stable, and reliable. But deep inside, Adaobi feared she was settling. She wanted more passion, adventure, something that didn't feel so predictable. By the time she reached her cousin's house in Asaba, she had switched off her phone. "I'm not ready to get married," she told herself, pacing the living room. But even as she said it, a wave of guilt swept over her. Femi doesn't deserve this. He didn't do anything wrong. 3 days passed and Femi didn't call. Adaobi expected Reg or at least a message asking why. Instead, there was silence. Her mother, on the other hand, called non-stop. "Do you know how much disgrace you've brought to this family? People are talking. Femi's family is devastated." Adaobi curled up on her cousin's couch, drowning in her thoughts. Part of her felt relieved to be free, but another part wondered why Femi hadn't come looking for her. She thought back to their relationship. Femi had always been so calm, so composed. Maybe she had mistaken his patience for a lack of passion. One evening, her cousin, Shigera, came home with a small envelope. "Femi left this at my office. He said you'd know what to do with it." Adaobi's hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a handwritten note and 2 plane tickets to Lagos. The note simply read, "We need to talk." Adaobi hesitated for days before boarding the flight. Shidera urged her to go. "At least hear him out. You owe him that much," she said. With no better plan, Adaobi finally agreed. When she arrived at the airport in Lagos, Femi was waiting. He looked tired but still put together, his usual calm demeanor intact. "Thank you for coming," he said simply. They didn't talk much during the ride to his apartment. The silence was heavy, but Adaobi couldn't find the right words to say. Inside the apartment, Femi handed her a cup of tea and sat across from her. "Ada, I don't want to force you into anything you don't want," he began. His voice was steady, but there was a sadness in his eyes. "But I need to understand. Why did you run?" "I don't know," Adaobi admitted. She was surprised by how true the words felt. "I guess I got scared. Scared that marrying you would mean giving up on some kind of excitement I thought I wanted." Femi nodded slowly. "So, you think I'm boring?" Adaobi winced. "No, not boring. Just safe." The words hung in the air. Femi looked at her for a long moment before speaking. "I see. Well, I want to show you something tomorrow. I think it might help you understand me better." The next morning, Femi took Adaobi to a children's hospital in Ikeja. He greeted the staff like old friends and handed over supplies he had brought. "This is one of the places I spend my weekends," he explained. Adaobi watched as he played with the kids, his face lighting up in a way she'd never seen before. "Why didn't you ever tell me about this?" she asked as they left. "I didn't think it was important. But maybe I should have shown you more of myself," Femi replied. Femi began to share more of his world with Adaobi. They visited local art exhibitions he supported, community projects he had funded, and even his favorite suya sports. Each day, she discovered new sides of him, his humor, his drive, his quiet strength. For the first time, Adaobi started to question if her idea of excitement had been all wrong. Maybe passion wasn't about grand gestures but about shared values and genuine care. Despite the growing connection, Adaobi couldn't shake her guilt. She had humiliated Femi in front of their families. "Why are you even doing this? Why aren't you angry at me?" she asked one night. Femi sighed. "I was angry, but I realized anger wouldn't solve anything. I still love you, Ada, but I won't force you to love me back." One evening, while flipping through Femi's old photo albums, Adaobi stumbled upon a picture of him with another woman. "Who is this?" she asked, her chest tightening. Femi hesitated. That's Amaka, my ex-fiancé. We were engaged before I met you. Adaobi felt a pang of jealousy but quickly masked it. What happened? She left me at the altar, Femi said quietly. Just like you did. The revelation shook Adaobi. She couldn't believe Femi had been through the same heartbreak twice. Why would you want to risk it again with me? She asked. Because I see something in you, Ada, Femi said. And I believe we can make this work if we're honest with each other. Adaobi spent the next few days reflecting on her fears and insecurities. She realized she had been running not from Femi but from her own doubts about whether she deserved a love as steady and patient as his. With a newfound sense of clarity, Adaobi approached Femi. I'm sorry for everything. I was scared, but I see now that I've been looking for something I already had with you. Femi smiled. Does that mean you're ready to stop running? Adaobi nodded. Yes, if you'll still have me. They decided to start over, not as bride and groom but as two people willing to rebuild trust. Months later, Adaobi stood by Femi's side at another wedding, not theirs, but a friend's. As they danced, she felt a peace she hadn't known before. For the first time, Adaobi understood that excitement wasn't about running away. Sometimes, the real adventure was learning to stay. Sometimes what we are searching for is within our reach. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, follow us for more. Don't forget to like,